With so many overlapping social issues in our world, it is difficult to pinpoint problems and lay out a perfect solution. There are many crossing barriers in the fight for equal rights and basic human needs. So far, we've opened up the discussion and looked into the fight of social group of disabled people and their stories, cultures, wants, and needs. We have explored what being disabled means and what struggles it has come with. What is disability? A physical or mental condition that limits a person's movements, senses, or activities. A disadvantage or handicap, especially one imposed or recognized by the law. Let's begin to tie this into feminist theory. What is feminism? The advocacy of women's rights on the ground of political, social, and its economic equality to men. Today we're going to take some of these ideas of disability and see how to incorporate them with feminist theory. When we talk about this, we just want to integrate feminism, disability into the whole world of feminist movement. They aren't entirely too different, to be honest. Both groups have the same worries. Let's get into some of the domains of feminist theory. Representation, making sure women are presented equally and fairly in society. The body, their physical body and its views from society and how society controls it. Identity, how women identify, their labels like race, gender, class, sexuality. Activism, the core of activism is about keeping people aware and educated. The disability culture and the intersectionality of it goes back to the body, identity, and representation. One of the most common grounds is the body, specifically the female body. In society, being a woman alone has been enough to garner us different, and only with negative connotation as weaker, submissive, etc., and in turn makes us disabled by default. An example blending gender and race is when the European sailors first started exploring the world, and the colonization of the world began. The whites used to take women of color from their countries they invaded and put them on display as a strange wild creature. Garland states they were using women as an example of disability. Another issue is the medicalization of disability. There is a constant voice in our society to fix yourself from your disability. A very common practice, especially here in Los Angeles, is plastic surgery. What are we erasing, modifying, removing, and why? Well, let's think about it. Is aging a disability? How can it be? It happens to everyone, but anti-aging creams and products and procedures are always being advertised and pushed. How has society decided to fix aging? Botox. But not just Botox. There are all types of solutions. A procedure where your muscles are injected with bacteria to numb and or soften your muscles and try to erase your wrinkles. Really looking into the world, there's so much more to it and the amount of money spent on stopping a woman from aging. Society has shown us aging is not desirable. You want to stop yourself from being old. Why is being old a disability? Being old happens. Botox has a bunch of nasty side effects, from headaches to nausea to muscle weakness, and it's been shown that in the long run, it doesn't really help, and starting Botox too soon could lead to speeding up the aging process. So to be a woman and disabled, that adds even more ostracization from society's norms. It is human nature to want human contact. As antisocial as we are, we still crave human contact conversations, a friendly touch, a small positive conversation. To be so heavily penalized for being different from society, the human mind can start experiencing depression, anxiety, hopelessness, impulsive, aggressive tendencies, substance use or abuse, low self-esteem. This leads to a common and very battled issue in the disabled community: suicide. A problem so ignored. When we did research, we couldn't find a suicide rate. And we noticed that only recently have doctors and studies been done on suicide among disabled people. There are many emotions and thoughts a person can go through that would cause them to contemplate suicide and assisted suicide. With the proper education, instead of disabled people looking towards assisted suicide, they can get therapy and find the road to recovery. In the readings, Garland speaks about assisted suicide, and so we ask, If someone in suffering wants assisted suicide, is it justifiable? Liz Carr is a disabled rights activist, a comedian, and an actress, has a few words on this. If I said I wanted to die, the press, celebrities, and the public would support my choice, seeing it as irrational and understandable. Hell, they would probably set up a GoFundMe campaign to make this happen. Yet when a healthy, non-disabled person wants to kill themselves, it's seen as a tragedy. Support and prevention tools are provided. When you think of a disabled person, what do you associate them with? Let's think about sexuality and disability. Is it automatically asexuality or even a romantic life? Many don't think thrice, twice, not even once about disabled individuals and their sexuality. Ellen Stoll, a disabled CSU Northridge professor, posed naked for Playboy in her attempt to show the world that disabled people do have sexuality. In our research, we stumbled upon a photograph of her. Beautiful. But to be completely honest, she doesn't look disabled. Her statement was to show disabled people can still claim their sexuality. Yet the magazine photograph still posed her to seem able-bodied. During our research, we found many disabled porn actors and actresses, and stumbled upon Long Jian Silver. She falls under the classification of kink porn, a type of porn that contains unconventional sexual practices. She used her disabled body as part of the sexual act. She brings an important point up. Jian is from the 80s. She's sexualizing her disability. Do you think having more awareness and education about disability in her era would change her decision to have made such a porno? The goal of activism is to change the social landscape and promote equality. We have to always be open-minded and listen and learn from others' experiences and stories, and to be open and have a safe platform so we can move and advance in society. Her goal is to augment the terms and confront the limits of the way we understand human diversity, the materiality of the body, multiculturalism, and the social formation that interprets body differences. Disability is not an inability. The meaning of activism is integrating education. Education is key.